Hello guys, how are you doing? Today's build will be the Hasegawa F4U-5N Corsair in 148 scale. As you can see, I won't be using the kit decals because I'm not interested in the US Navy, but I will be using a set from Condor decals for the F9F Panther and the Corsair in Argentinian colors. I will paint it as 3A201, which was fully painted. Let me show you the other side. F4U-5N and 5NL Panther, Corsair and Panther. Key decal number is 48043. I will be starting this kit as soon as possible. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed the Spitfire video. So I'll see you all in the following process, in the following parts of the build, which will be the build of the cockpit. Take care, I'll see you all in, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Alright guys, after that small preview of the kit I show you, it's time to start assembling the cockpit. As you can see here, I accidentally broke the control stick, but I will be able to glue it back together once I assemble everything. So first, let's start with the cockpit floor and add the base of the control stick. Which goes on like this. Let me grab my tweezers. There we go. Now let's add the control stick the broken control stick, a little bit of glue, and I'll add it back up. There we go. Simple enough. Okay, now let's add the seat in here. There we go. And the armored headrest, which goes on here like this. Let me add glue to this side. There we go. Now let me add the instrument panel, which goes here on this opening, and it attaches like this. There we go. And now the rudder pedals. There we go. We have the cockpit complete. Now I grab a fuselage half and attach it to one side because I need the cockpit to maintain the parts position. Let me remove one side of the cockpit, of the fuselage I mean. There we go. I clean up all the sprue gates. And open the holes for the flame dampers, which go in here for the night version, Night Fighter. There we go. One side is done. Now the other side remains to be opened. There we go. Like this. Now I'll add the cockpit to one side, over here, and over here. Now let's add it like this. The instrument panel goes on this side. There we go. Now the cockpit has been attached, and I leave it to dry before proceeding further. Now I will build the engine. Alright, after the cockpit, it's time to assemble the engine. First off, I will add glue to this part, which is the engine itself, engine proper. And before closing it, yes, previously I need to add this part which mounts on this hole. There we go. Now I'll add the rubber polycap for the propeller to spin. And now I'll add more glue to this side. There we go. This one attaches like this. And the last part, N15, goes on in here. There we go, we have the engine complete. Now I'll assemble the wings, which have already had the holes open for the missiles and all of that. Alright guys, with the engine complete, it's time to assemble the wings. As you can see here, I have already added the back part of the landing gear wells, which I forgot to paint in gloss sea blue, but I will paint it after everything has dried. Okay, now let's add the wings. First, starting with the top parts of the wings, like this. There we go. Now I'll add the top part of this wing to the lower side. There we go. I will also add glue to the contact point in here. And now I'll tape this side together for it to cure properly. Taping. Taping it together. And on the other side too. On this side, I mean. Now let's go for the other side. It's basically the same step, but mirrored. There we go. Glue is applied here too. And on this side. Now let's add the other part. There we go. Like this. Now let's add another strip of tape here. And let's add the radiator inlets, which are parts, let me check, E3 and E1. So I have to turn this upside down. grab E3 and E1. Sprue E, where is Sprue E? Sprue E, Sprue E. In the instructions, Sprue E is the one with the radon for the radar. There we go. Now let's attach E3 first. There we go. This E3 is this part. And it goes on like this. The fit is tight. There we go. I should remove this small sprue tab which remained. Now I'll apply glue again and reattach it. There we go. Better. Now let's go for the other side, but first let me add glue over here, in here too. There we go. Now part E1, which I also trim accordingly for it to fit, and glue it to this side of the wing. There we go. Like this. No, like this. There we go, like this. Perfect. Now I have the wings complete, sans the flaps. I will wait for everything to dry, fuselage, flaps and all of that. The flaps were glued behind the scenes. I will wait and then I will glue everything together. So in the meantime, hope you're enjoying this video. Alright guys, the fuselage cockpit has dried completely and now it's time to glue both fuselage hubs together. So first what I will do is to clean up some of the sprue gates that ail the kit. Like this one and this one. And I will grab one fuselage hub and apply glue. There we go, applying glue. Applying glue to the cockpit side because that needs to be glued too. And applying glue over here too. Now let's grab one fuselage half and glue it in place and glue it to the other one. There we go. Now let me grab the tape and tape everything together so nothing will go out of alignment. Of course I still need to fill and sand, but that will be for another stage. Let me grab another piece of tape and glue it to the empennage. And another piece of tape goes on this side. Let me add more glue. There we go. Now let's try to glue the wings to the fuselage. Shouldn't be too complicated, but you never know. Okay, let's add glue on this side, plenty of glue so the union melts and I get a pretty strong, rather strong bond on the wings. There we go, here and here. And here too. There we go. Now let's grab the fuselage and attach the wings. There we go. Like this. Let me now grab some tape and glue everything, tape everything together. Now the lower side of the fuselage. There we go. Now I can leave this to dry to cure. Or let me check the wings. Let me add some more tape to have a strong bond on the fuselage to the engine. There we go. And I could add the horizontal stabilizers at this point. Okay, let's turn the model upside down. And first add part B5 and then A4. B5 is here. There we go. This is B5, which should go like this on this side, and A4, which is right here. There we go. Let me clean up everything properly, because otherwise the parts won't fit. There we go. Now, where were we? Okay, let's glue the horizontal stabilizers. One gets glue added, and it goes over here, and the other one has the same steps. Glue on this side and on this side, and it attaches like this. There we go, like this. Now we have fully assembled, mostly fully assembled aircraft. Now I will leave everything to cure properly for some hours. Then I lap the flaps and the underwing stores, and then it will be the engine, and then it will be painting time. Alright guys, with the wings fully dried, it's time to add the flaps of the Corsair. I will first start with the right side and then with the left one. I already glued the flaps on the sprues because I didn't want to mess with the fiddly steps of gluing them on camera. Okay, first flap is here, is done. Let me do some tricks to, there we go. Now let's glue the other one, the inner flap. Here. There we go. Now the innermost flap of the left wing. Which goes like this. There we go. Now on to the other side. Let me do something because one flap isn't grabbing the surface. There we go. And like that, one side is done. There we go. Now the other side. Let me add glue to the upper part of the flap rail. There we go. Now let's add the other side. There we go. Now let's add the middle flap of the right side. There we go. And now the innermost flap of the right side. There we go. Now all the flaps have been added and they are all even. There we go. I will leave this upside down in order to let them cure properly. Now onto the engine. Alright folks, it's time to assemble the engine, and then I will have complete Corsair, and then once everything is dry I will be able to start the painting process. So first off, I glue the piece that holds the exhaust, which go in here in these openings. First off, applying glue here liberally. I'll now add this part like this. There we go. Now let's add the exhaust. There we go. The single ones are the lower ones, which go over here like this, and the other one goes over here like this. Should stay on like this. And now I'll add the upper exhaust, which are double. Applying the glue here, and this one goes over here, and this other one goes let me add more glue because it's rather flimsy, the union. There we go. This one goes over here. There we go. Now, following instructions, I will first add part B6 over here on the front. Like this. Oh, my mistake. It was on this side, on the external side goes this part. There we go. I'll apply glue over in the inside. And now the cowling, which goes like this, and like this. Oh, first the engine. Was forgetting to attach the engine. Silly me. Okay, now let me remove some screw gates on the engine. There we go. The engine goes on like this. There we go. Now I have to add glue here. There we go. Now I'll apply glue to the sides of the engine like this to reinforce the joint. And now, yes, I will add the cowling. There we go. And let's add the cowling like this. I'm again having trouble attaching the engine to the fuselage. When one side is correctly placed, the other one won't fit. So let me dry fit this now. Okay, now let me do something drastic. I remove part of this side. There we go. And now I'll dry fit everything again. But first I will add the engine again. Now let's try this again. It ought to fit, and it fits perfect. There we go. Minimal cleanup will be needed, but the cowling fits. And now we have a complete fuselage of an F4U-5N Corsair in 1/48 scale. What I had to do was to trim the lip in here of the engine cowling, because otherwise it wouldn't have fit. Okay, now I leave this everything to cure properly overnight, or maybe some hours later. I will start by priming the aircraft and apply the dark sea blue paint from Vallejo, which will give me a nice surface for the entire camouflage, which is only... Oh, I was forgetting. Let me add now the radome. I dropped something. Let me. Hopefully it wasn't important. Ah, here it is. Okay, where were we? Ah, yes. The radon for the radar. Radon for the radar. Radon for the radar. Let me remove it from the sprue. There we go. A slight trimming is needed. The engine, the problem with the engine, I had already once this problem of the engine, of the cowling not fitting on my first effort of the Corsair, which I did also in, oops, I forgot to open the holes for the flame dampers on the nose. Stupid me. Okay, I have to glue them now and by eye. These are pieces Q2. Let me grab the other part. Q2. One will have to have its mounting pins removed because otherwise it won't fit on the kit. Okay, let's do this. Luckily I didn't forget to open the holes for one side. Okay, one side like this. Q2 goes like this on this side. There we go. And the other Q2 needs to have its mounting pins removed. And I'll add it on the other side. Checking if the exhausts are properly secured. Goes over here and it gets attached like this. Of course, had I been more thoughtful, I would have realized the mounting holes for these parts weren't added. Now, let me add the radon for the radar. Removing the tape over here. Are these two parts aligned? No, they aren't. Oh, that's because I was placing them incorrectly. I will have to sand this area later. Q2 goes over here. There we go. I was placing it in the incorrect location. There we go. Now let's add the radon, which goes in here. Let me dry fit everything. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, which goes over here, I think. Yes, I think I'm correctly placing the radon. Okay, now let's go to add the parts. Like this. I'll add the radon over here, which is the required place. Oh, again, my silly ideas. There we go. Now we have a radome added. And now we do have a complete F4U-5N, which now I will leave to dry overnight for some hours before starting the priming session and painting the entire kit. Hope you are enjoying this video. So I'll leave you with this, and I'll see you all once the model is primed and ready to be painted. Alright, the Corsair is now fully painted in dark sea blue, and the tail was also painted in the Argentinian flag. This latest stage of assembly was quite challenging for me, not because of the kit but because of myself. I broke again the control stick and had to be reglued in another position. Then I accidentally broke the horizontal stabilizer, the left one, and then I also broke the arrestor hook by mistake. So yeah, it's been a bit challenging right now, but I hope all of that is on the past, and now I will begin decaling the aircraft, which won't be shown. So I hope to see you all in the final reveal, which will be after decaling the aircraft. The final reveal, sorry. I will add the smaller parts such as the landing gear struts, the gear doors, and then the wheels, tail gear, and all of that. So take care and see you all in the next clip. Alright guys, with the aircraft fully decaled, it's time to add the landing gear parts, which comprise the wheels, landing gear struts, and the landing gear doors. The doors will be added after the main gear is dry, because I want to focus on only one assembly at a time. That also saves me headaches regarding location of the parts, because some parts may get mixed up and I will get confused. Okay, now let's start by adding the main landing gear. This one is the right landing gear and needs this part attached like this in here. So let's start adding these parts like this. I think they go on like this. Yes. Come on. There we go. First gear is done. Now I'll add the other part to the other landing gear. Carefully, without breaking any part, as I did with others before. There we go. Now let's add them to the... Luckily the Mr. Mark software had the cap shut off, otherwise I would have lost a very precious modeling tool. Okay, let's first add the tail wheel, applying glue here and here. Then grabbing the kit like this and attaching the tail wheel in here. There we go. The tail wheel is on. Now the main gear. I'll attach. I'll add glue to the gear like this, on the holes and not on the part. Okay, let's do this. Carefully, I add the first gear, the first landing gear. There we go. The first one is on. And now the second one. Gluing here and here and here. Let me grab some napkins because I spilled glue. There we go. The glue has been absorbed. And now let's add the other landing gear strut. Goes on like this. There we go. Now carefully I will correct the position. And we have, no, we don't have anything. There we go. Now we have a fully assembled landing gear. I will paint these parts when everything is cured. Now adding them, straightening the parts. Yes, you know what? I will add now the landing gear doors. That is, if I find them. They should be. Also, I wanted to show you the propeller, which I think personally is my best propeller up to now, to date, I mean. There we go. Oops. Landing gear doors are here. Okay, now let's add the landing gear doors. First are parts A10 and A8. A10 is the one I'm cutting now. It's this one. And number A8 is this one. Okay, now let's start gluing the parts. If the glue wants to come out of the nozzle. Let me unclog the glue with a copper rod. There we go. Now, where were we? Yes, attaching the landing gear doors. One door goes over here. The other one goes on the other side. And goes over here. There we go. Now let's do the same, but for the other gear doors. First is this one, the outer one. There we go. And now the inner one. There we go. The front landing gear doors won't be added because I want to have the wheels glued first, because I fear otherwise they won't fit. Okay, now parts A6 and A5 for the rear wheel, the tail wheel. Okay, now I have to remove the ejector pin marks from both tail wheel doors and the attachment sprues. I need to remove those, which are in the most uncomfortable place ever. Okay, one is done. Now let's do the other one. Sorry. Okay, now let's do this. Let's add the tail wheel gear doors. I need to unclog my glue again. Okay, now let's glue these parts. And they go on like this, according to the instructions. There we go. Now the other door, which I hope will be easier to attach. And it goes on like this. No, don't fall inside the plane. Now I have to correct this one again. Okay, let me try something. Let me add glue to the hole opening. There we go. Now this one. Okay, now where is my tweezers? Where are my tweezers? Here, I will use this one. This is getting annoying. I can't seem to add the tailwheel doors correctly. There we go. Now I need to wait for all the other parts to dry before proceeding further with the landing gear. And adding the smaller parts to the aircraft, such as the cannons. Well, I leave you with this. Hope, and I will see you all in the wheel attachment parts. And that should be all for this build. Alright guys, we are reaching the end of the build. As you can see, I have already attached the propeller, the wheels and the front landing gear covers. That's because I couldn't resist attaching all the parts. I got a little anxious. Okay, now the remaining parts are the clear parts. As you can see here, the aircraft has been completed, everything is dry. Now let's try adding the clear parts with the smallest amount of trauma possible. Let's grab the aircraft and applying the glue with a toothpick over here. No, I have a better idea. Applying the glue to the clear part directly. There we go. Now I'll attach it here. There we go. Like this, and now the sliding canopy, which goes in here and glue is added here. There we go. Now let's grab the sliding canopy. Let me add glue to the back for good measure, and here too. And then we add the remaining part. There we go. Like this, we have a complete F4U-5N Corsair in 1/48 scale from Hasegawa. There we go. What can I say about this kit? It was a fairly simple build, other than my own mistakes like breaking several parts, such as the arrestor hook and the control stick, but that was uneventful. Decals were really nice. They were a bit tacky, and they like to stick in the first place they came with. They got contact with. But luckily adding lots of water to the surface allowed me to reposition them without issues. The carrier film was also very flexible, which helped me treat the decals with a rougher way. The propeller spins. Well, it's too tight to spin. The polycap is too tight to spin. overall it was a nice kit, and I can't wait to build my other Hasegawa kits, but that will be in the near future once I edit this video with the final reveal pictures and upload them to YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, please do comment, like and subscribe. More content on the way, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, and hope you enjoy the final reveal pictures.
Suena el clarín, manda izar, sube orgulloso en azul pabellón, y una emoción me hace llorar. Y al entonar esta canción, que es la canción de la gente de mar, quiero expresar esa emoción. Valiente muchachada de la Armada, que lejos de amor y hogar, guarda la extensión del patrio mar, la furia de los vientos desatada, no doblegará jamás a tu corazón viril y audaz, y no aviará su pabellón, ningún bajel de mi nación. Si queda a bordo un guapo marinero, que yo como tal varón al pie de un cañón. Valiente muchachada de la Armada, que lejos de amor y hogar, guarda la extensión del patrio mar, la furia de los vientos desatada, no doblegará jamás a tu corazón viril y audaz, y no aviará su pabellón, ningún bajel de mi nación. Si queda a bordo un guapo marinero, yo soy como tal varón al pie de un cañón. Y no había su pabellón, ningún bajel de mi nación. Si queda a bordo un guapo marinero, que yo soy como tal varón al pie de un cañón.